I live in St. Thomas, Ontario, Canada. We are famous for killing Jumbo the elephant, who is a crusty old elephant from Barnum and Bailey Circus who wouldn't get off the railway tracks. We're also the birthplace of Joe Thornton, Rachel McAdams, and me, Andrea Edison. Now, the reason July 24th is a significant day for me is because 4 days ago I celebrated my 33rd birthday. Now, to a lot of people that isn't really a milestone, but for me it's a big thing because I have cystic fibrosis, and I'm pretty much facing that in less than 5 years I'll be dead. Cystic fibrosis is a genetic disorder, and it affects your lungs and it affects your pancreas. So each morning I get up and I do what's called postural drainage therapy. That helps to sort of loosen up the mucus. I also use a nebulizer inhaler, which has antibiotics in it, which helps clear out any bacteria to prevent infection. The entire process takes about an hour, and I do it twice a day. So I pretty much have to find 2 hours out of my day in order to do this. I also take many pills too. I take about 20 to 30 pills a day. I have to take about 6 with each meal, so it's a lot to remember. Most times I feel very fortunate because it isn't a physical disability. I'm fortunate that I don't have to walk with crutches or be in a wheelchair. I think the hardest part is that you look perfectly healthy, and they think that, other people don't realize how sick you are, and sometimes I don't realize how sick I am. So I decided that in order for me to come to terms with this, that I'd have to go and ask the people that I loved most, what are they going to do after I'm gone? My husband and I have been married for 2 years. We both met doing local theater, and we really enjoy doing local theater. But in the last couple of years, I've sort of slowed down. It's not really because of my health. It's mostly because I feel like, as much as I enjoy theater, I feel like I've been hiding behind it. On the one hand, it's been great because it's let me live a million lives. And if your life is going to be cut significantly short, it's so great to be able to play pretend and be all these people. The problem is that I just want to be able to find myself in all of this. Who am I? What am I looking for? I decided first I would talk to my husband Harry about this. He's actually doing a play right now. He's doing a Pinter piece called Betrayal, and he's actually going to be doing this in between his matinee and his evening show. This should be a great time to ask him these hard-hitting questions. Hey, how's it going to be when your wife kicks it? So, what's going to happen after I die?
What's going to happen after? Well, first, and for a long time, we're going to be celebrating your life, if I have my wish.
Okay, how would you do that?
Well, I have all of your videos, and I have all of the stuff that you've contributed, and I have all of the stories that you've done. I have all of the programs of plays that you've been in. I have all of these wonderful things that you've done and stuff that I can share with everybody.
The next person I wanted to ask about this was my best friend, Jen. We've been friends for the past 15 years, and I just love her to death. She has a daughter, Tanis, and, we've both agreed that, since I don't have any kids of my own, Tanis can be like my little niece, and I just adore Tanis so much. And her being born has really changed me, because although I can't have kids, and sometimes I don't really know if I want to have kids, she's really opened the gates for me, emotionally, I guess.
Better get lot of toys, big toys.
Give me hugs.
Honestly, really afraid to have kids, because I just don't know what I would do if I did die. I just couldn't orphan a child like that. And when I think about Tanis, it is really upsetting to me, because I don't want her to hurt after I'm gone. I just want her to be able to remember the good times and all of those things that we had together.
I'm gonna feel like part of me is missing, and I tell you, I'm gonna have the hardest bit of it is going to be, I'll be waiting by the phone at at like 11 o'clock and 6 o'clock waiting for you to call me from work. That was because there were certain times when my mom, before she passed, she would call me, and she would, you know, there would be those times that we could connect on a daily basis. And for months after Mom passed, I would, just a part of me would cry out, please phone ring. And I know that when you're gone, it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to just be like, oh, you know, I miss her so much. I wish she could call. I wish I could tell her. And I try and tell you exactly what I'm feeling at any given moment, because really it could be any of us at any given moment. We've got to live life like one day at a time, and just cram all the living that we can into it, because it could be any of us.
Lastly, I wanted to talk to my father. He's just such a wonderful man. He's been the most positive influence of anybody I know on my life. And I feel like if I'm healthy, it's because his positive attitude has made it that way for me.
So it's not about death, it's about life. So you can take from there.
We've been lucky because you've been so healthy. And sometimes I find that you lay in bed at night, and that's when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of, what's going to happen, but you've done so well that we try not to think about it, I guess.
When I think about your life, I mean, geez, you went all the way around the world, really, when you went to Australia and come back. Then you went the first time, I remember you leaving, that was when you had it was the first one to have that Sunshine Foundation. You went down to Florida. That was the very first flight in London. Nobody's ever done that. Lots of things that you've done that nobody else has done. There's very few people who can stand up there in front of an audience and make a fool of themselves, some of the time. Or speak, you know. That's the things that we'll always remember about you. It's not the things, I mean, it's not the doom and gloom. I don't want to think about doom and gloom. I only want to think about the best parts.
My father always says that when you die alone. Even if you were to be in a plane crash with a bunch of other people, you still meet your maker on your own. And I just have to keep saying to myself that it doesn't matter. I have lived my life to the fullest. I have done all of the things that I've wanted to do, and I've had people who loved me. So, what's better than that?